ending battle to protect the middle class and the labor community are their champions. Union Strong brings labor leaders together to talk about the challenges and triumphs they face every day. Sponsored by Smart Local 265, Roofers Local 11, and Megant Financial.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
The following program, Collaboration Radio, is sponsored by Collaboration, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Welcome to Collaboration Radio at the intersection of art, activism, and social change.
Yes,
I am your host, Carla Stillwell, and I'm here with my co-host.
Yes, it's Marcus Robinson here with you today.
And Dr. Marcus, you are the consistent, because me and Anthony be floating in and out. Anthony Moseley is celebrating the birth of his lovely wife, our dear friend, Sandra Delgado, this weekend in Cali. He's going back to Cali. Cali. Going back to Cali.
I'm going to California.
So Anthony will be back with us, I think next week, yeah.
Well, shout out Sandra, too, because she's doing something great out there.
Yes, she is. So a few years ago, around 2018, I believe, Collaboration produced a show called La Havana Madrid.
Yes.
And it was Sandra's brainchild. It's a beautiful homage to Latin culture and music, and she and her director Sherilyn Bruce are in Cali.
That's the Sherilyn Bruce?
The Sherilyn Bruce.
Oh, my.
Famous are in California right now, producing that thing, and it is going, from what we see, it is going beautifully. Is it Southwest? Is it South Coast Repertory?
South Coast Repertory.
All right.
She's down there in San Juan Capistrano in their outdoor theater. Amazing setting.
OMG, WTF.
F and G.
So let me tell you something, y'all. Y'all don't even know what just happened. So my now new best girlfriend, the Pinky Ring, hip-hop artist extraordinaire, was going to be our guest today, and she was not feeling well at all yesterday, and was like, I'm going to sing y'all this track, but I don't know if I can be up in there breathing on people. And just as sure as my name is Carla Renette Stillwell, yes, I said my whole government name, I look up and the ring of Pinky popped up and through this piece.
All that beautiful color.
So, no, come on, squeeze in. Get in. Get in.
Hey, family.
Oh, my God. Welcome.
Now the party can start. We might as well jump right in.
I was like, what?
I was like, last night it was vitamin C, it was honey, it was tea. I was like, I gotta see my friends.
Oh, wow. It's working on you, because I don't know who do your braids, but that's tight.
Isn't it fire?
Oh, my. And those colors in it.
I'm summer ready.
Listen, you are not just summer ready. You are summer. You are giving me full, like, sunshine.
I am summer. I'm going to put that on my resume, y'all.
Summer.
What are some of your skills? I am summer. Talk to Carla if you need a reference.
Exactly.
Heck yeah.
Listen, we are here on Collaboration Radio, where you will be able to catch us every Saturday at 4 p.m. for the foreseeable future, or as long as there's injustice in this world. We will be out here talking about art and activism and how they rock together.
Yeah.
And what the artists do to make it work. On this episode, we are going to catch up on a couple of hot topics. Pinky, feel free to jump in on anything.
Love that.
And we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a quick talk about my friends at Indivisible Chicago.
Okay.
Because they're doing a thing and bringing art in to help rock the vote. So I want to give them a shout out today.
Okay.
And as I said, the shock of it all, the artist spotlight is going to be on Chicago hip-hop artist, mentor, activist, Pinky Ring.
I come with my own reggae horns, y'all.
Yeah.
So let's hit these couple of announcements real quick so y'all can know a little bit about what's going on, and then we will jump right back into it.
Collaboration Radio is sponsored by the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation and donors and members like you. Email radio@collaboration.org or go to www.collaboration.org to learn more. And today's episode of Collaboration Radio is sponsored by AV Chicago, Chicago's leading provider of AV production and event management services.
All right. Just so you are never forgetting where we're coming from, Collaboration is this 26-year-old nonprofit whose mission is to build knowledge, empathy, dialogue, and action around oppression and inequity through live theater, film, and now radio that leverage the power of storytelling and community to cultivate positive change. Let me tell y'all, we got some, oh my God, so much fun is happening. So much fun is about to happen in the world. So our youth activist artist, The Light cohort, will be performing at Lollapalooza on the Kidsapalooza stage. Yes, they will be performing on August 5th. However, if you are at Lollapalooza this year and you have tiny little baby people that you want to do something with in the hours of 12 and 5, you can stop by the Kidsapalooza section, and guess who you'll be able to see? Who? One, Pinky Ring! Pinky and Anthony and some jugglers and some stilters and some bubblers and some magic, and it'll be all kinds of stuff going on in the tents that Collaboration will be helping to make the fun and the dance. Dancer Dana Anderson, company member, will be there doing some hip-hop workshops and stuff with the folks and the little kids and the people. So please make your way to Lala and make your way to the kids stage to come see us.
What's the age range? What's the age range for that, for the kids?
This is like tiny little baby, just little humans, that fresh humans,
Fresh ones.
until like 12,
Okay.
13 years old. You know,
Tweeners.
So, tweeners,
Tops, yeah.
tweeners that are still not too cool to get a little goofy.
Right. We love that. Once they get over 13, they're too cool for school.
Yes.
And then August 3rd, we will be celebrating Anthony Moseley's 600th month anniversary.
Happy
That
birthday.
night at the Underground Cocktail Club at 8 p.m. Those are the doors. So feel free to come by, have a cocktail, and donate to the cause that is Collaboration. You can also catch us on November 11th. Put this one on your calendar.
Block it off.
This is the Utopian Ball.
Save the date.
This is our annual gala where we like get all fancy, and you will see me for the first and last time in the year with some makeup on and my hair combs. The first and last time. It only happens once a year.
Yes.
Where I put on dress-up clothes, and Dr. Marcus will be there. I'm sure Pinky will be there.
Absolutely.
And we will be hosted by Melissa Dupre, comedian extraordinary.
We love Melissa.
That's my home girl. So funny. So put that on your calendars and come out. And if you want any other information, go to www.collaboration.org and you can become a member. So listen, before we get into this lovely art,
Okay.
a couple of things. So, you know, I've been doing my little segment where I tie things together, blah, 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 blah. Bright red line.
Bright red line.
Well, listen, sometimes the bright red line shows up in different ways. And here's what's cool. Have y'all heard about these universities? Wesleyan, Amherst College, Sonoma College, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and a couple of other universities have decided that they are going to end legacy admissions.
It's about time.
I got it. I like that.
Yes.
In light of the Supreme Court's effery and tomfoolery
Yes.
and ridiculousness, they're going to end legacy admissions, and it seems like a few universities are really considering it and moving in that direction.
Right move.
Yes.
How do y'all feel about that?
Right move.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, y'all can call in, give us your opinion about stuff. 773-763-WCPT. That is 773-763-9278. I bring this up because I am going to talk about voting a little bit at the end of this thing.
Okay.
And because the bright red line is we're dealing with a lot of the stuff we're dealing with today because some of y'all didn't take your to vote.
Tails.
Yo, bippity beep to vote. Some of you didn't understand the importance of it. Some of you didn't understand why. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about today is about voting and activism and people standing up. I got to shout out SAG-AFTRA folks and the Writers Guild of America
the right
folks.
to work. Yes, absolutely. Come on
who
now.
are on the picket line right now for their residuals and their right to earn.
To earn and not have the word starving come before artists.
I mean, please, can we please, let's fix that, right? That's the work.
That is the work.
Yes.
I if you do the math, it's so funny. If you do the math about, especially like stage performers, people that do live theater, it's like, okay, you make $1,500 a week. Ooh. First of all, you're a 1099 employee.
Right.
So
you're really only 28% of that belongs to somebody else off the top, and not including whatever you want to put away for yourself.
And although some of the equity rules have changed, some of the union rules have changed, and they're trying to be a little bit more respectful of your time, you are usually working more than 8 hours a day, and you are usually working more than 5 days a week.
Oh, and that $1,500 you're talking about, you still got to shell out another couple $100 for your insurance.
Yep.
Even when they say group insurance provided. Yeah, that just access is provided. You don't pay, you don't play.
Yeah. You got to get yourself there and back.
So that $1,500 just turned into $800 real fast on me.
Listen, so 800, I don't do math. I was a theater major.
Same.
800 times 4. What's that?
2,400, right?
That's 2,400? So my rent is more than half of that.
32, I'm sorry.
32.
Yeah, my rent is in the thousands.
Right?
With the
Like,
F.
with the F.
Yeah, so just say that that's a
think about it.
1,500 number, right? That's a 1,500 number. So now you're going from the 3,200 down 1,500, leaves you with $1,700. Do you have a car? Do you make payments?
Yep.
So that's so if you have a recent car, that's a $300 to $400 note plus insurance. So now what is that? That's down to what? You got $500. Oh, you want to eat $100? Who can eat on $100 a week? Somebody. You can't get to be my size.
There's a little plus over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
The size on this side is plus.
It's beautifully
you
plus.
put the $400 in there, $100 a week. Now we're down to about $300, $400. Did we pay the water and the lights yet?
No, we haven't.
The heat.
Has anybody bought lunch anywhere yet? Has anybody gone to actually see a piece of art in the world in which you actually work because you can't afford the dang ticket, even when they discount it to $10 or $15? Oh, you can get one of those a month, maybe two.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The next time you're sitting around watching Netflix, all enjoying your binge watch of your show, and you're like, why are these people, they're artists, like why are they picketing? Why those Netflix shows, people, they are not making residuals off that.
Yep.
They're getting paid flat fees.
Yep.
These artists that you enjoy and love, a lot of them are driving Uber when they leave.
driving Uber,
shout out to
serving
Uber
tables.
because I did that for a while
Shout
myself.
out to Uber.
See,
But also not shout out to that corporation either.
Right, because of what it is.
Because of what it is.
There's Instacart.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them doing Uber Eats. A lot of folks are doing Grub. Like, you don't understand that these people that look glamorous and walk red carpets and have to get their hair done, and you're like, oh, their life is. A lot of them are struggling because Disney and them are fine.
Yeah. Right. So let me put it out here, because there is a way to call to action for each and every one of us. So one of the ways that us regular people who are not in the business can be supportive of the artists out there on the streets now protesting for earnings is quit stealing each other's, using each other's accounts. Just pay for your own damn account. Because if everybody paid for their account, there's more money in the pot, assuming that we have legitimate, ethical people managing the pot.
That's the problem, for real.
Well, we got to fix. You got to fix it someplace. So when not enough money is going in the pot to begin with. So when the opportunity there is to pay for something, like go pay for some live entertainment in your neighborhood, in your city this week.
What?
Just go out and buy some tickets, go see something. That all by itself lifts the economy. So there's 3,000 or 4,000 people here listening today, right now. If 3,000 or 4,000 people bought tickets at $25 a piece to go see something, that's going to raise that's going to put some food on somebody's table.
And let me give you this, though. Like in a city like Chicago, where our mayor and our Department of Cultural Affairs is like, oh, so the art and arts production really does help improve the quality of life for everybody. So we're going to put a little money into this free programming, and it's going to be all this free programming around the city. And so they're like, did people go take part in that? Right. Go to your park. Go to the park district. Yes. Your body in the space. Yes. When the
counts.
People at B that make the decisions go and look, it's like there were 200 people. Yes. At this free event. That means they want to see it. Yes. That means we, the city,
need to provide it
and pay for it. So our citizenry, that was very, very medieval of me. So our folk can be entertained and satiated and happy and enjoy the beautiful lakefront and community of Chicago. So go see stuff. Yes. All right. With that said, speaking of artists out here doing things, so before Pinky, when she was sick and her throat hurt yesterday, she was like, I don't know if I'm going to be here. She sent me something to read, and I'm going to read it, and then we're going to play this track, and then we're going to talk about it, because I want to know how you get down. Yes. So, in collaboration with the National Public Housing Museum, Pinky Ring invites you to participate in a musical reintroduction of the revolutionary activist group, the Young Lords. Victory, the piece we're going to hear, helps us reimagine the Puerto Rican people's history of Lincoln Park and the highlights and consequences of gentrification in Chicago, part of a larger project called Stories from the Red Line. Fire, gentrifier.
Fire, gentrifier.
Yeah.
I hear
Victory is the final stop on a self-guided tour of the people's history of Lincoln Park. The lyrics to Victory were written using audio, stories, and research by activist scholars Jose Chacha Jimenez, Billy Che Brooks, and Professor Jacqueline Lazu as references. Victory excavates the hidden and repressed history of urban renewal and explores the struggles of the Young Lords to organize, raise political awareness, and resist gentrification. What can we learn from the past? How can we build a better collective future for all of us? Listen and look more intentionally at the existing urban landscape and explore how young people, with collective joy and organizing, are reclaiming our city.
Period.
Purred. So let's listen to the track Victory now.
Drop it, DJ.
See, our children have had it. What you do here today what you do after you leave this church, no matter what happens, whether we get busted, whether we have to walk out, either way, it's still a victory.
Victory, we make it through the day to the day, that's a victory. No matter what they say, we okay, that's a victory. Occupy church steeples till we equal victory. Que viva Puerto Rico, we the people. Now take a walk through the streets of the shot. Young kings organizing for a piece of the pie. Reasoning why they skin brings them black eyes. Slipping on thin lines like black ice. Puerto Ricans push from the south to Lincoln Park. White folks got mad and that's where it all starts. Mayor Daley got a plan, he called urban renewal. Gentrification in disguise to protect his crown jewel. Now them white gangs is beating up them brown kids. So the young lords form to combat their surroundings. It's about protection and respeto, my brother. Hermana, no one's gonna protect us if we don't protect each other.
But remember that no matter what happens, one way or the other, we have won. We have a victory today. They can never take that away from us. Everybody here go out and you go out proud no matter what happens. But this church is ours. This is the people's church.
Victory, we make it through the day to the day, that's a victory. No matter what they say, we okay, that's a victory. Occupy church steeples till we equal victory. Que viva Puerto Rico, we the people. What was going on then is going on now, mi gente. We need all hands on deck. Todos tan presente, black and brown people running it. Somos los gerentes and me. I'm the hood's Cha-Cha Jimenez from Logan Square to Bronzeville. Pilsen, La Villita, Hyde Park, Humble Park. Colonizers, take a seat, yeah, listen here. We shouting loud, claiming victory now. You ain't gonna raise our rents without consent and kick us out. You coming up in here with hella bravado, but if you from the suburbs, then you can't claim Chicago. It's about protection and respeto, my brother. Hermana, no one's gonna protect us if we don't protect each other. Victory, we make it through the day to the day, that's a victory. No matter what they say, we okay, that's a victory. Occupy church steeples till we equal victory. Que viva Puerto Rico, we the people. Victory, we make it through the day to the day, that's a victory. No matter what they say, we okay, that's a victory. Occupy church steeples till we equal victory. Que viva Puerto Rico, we the people.
Collaboration Radio is supported by Social Innovation Group of Chicago, providing coaching, consulting, and training of the human side of enterprise. From nationally recognized work with collective impact groups and community, to large system change in business and government, to coach leaders to transform their organization in pockets of excellence that are radically inclusive while driving breakthrough performance. Social Innovation Group. Go to www.drmarcusrobinson.com for more information.
And we are back.
That's a victory.
Man, listen.
Track, baby. Oh,
thank you.
Oh my God, that's so. You know I'm shot time till I this night.
Yes.
So when it irritated me when I was in India. I met somebody who was
you
like,
met somebody.
They heard my voice. They were like, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Chicago. Where are you from? I'm from Chicago too. I was like, oh my God, where?
What neighborhood?
And it's like, well, I live in Winnetka.
No.
Stop telling. Stop you in India out here misrepresenting the scene.
Yes.
I'm from South Shore. Quit playing.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
We don't like it. We don't like it.
Winnetka is a far cry from Chicago.
A far cry.
I was so irritated. Pinky.
Yes.
What is your origin story? I mean, you have your superhero hair. Give us a little bit of your origin story.
So my origin story, is born from, struggle like most folks from the city of Chicago, like most, Latin folks, like most BIPOC folks in the city. My parents came from Puerto Rico to Chicago and sort of just tried to repress their memory of Puerto Rico. So they didn't really tell us a lot or teach us a lot about Puerto Rico. And so growing up for me, like Humboldt Park was the epicenter of all things Puerto Rican.
Right.
And like my parents didn't even let us like go to the parade or anything. And I remember my brother and I drawing on pieces of paper Puerto Rican flags, because when we would drive by there to go to church, we would put it on the window and point. You know when you tell the truck driver to honk the horn? We'd be like, and people would honk their horns, because it's the sense of pride that just is in you when you're from the diaspora, but you don't have that direct connection. And so, that that struggle, that like not knowing about myself, that being told what to do, what to look like, what to wear, really had a deep impact on me, because I said, there's got to be more than this. There's got to be more than what you're telling me. They tell little girls in Latin culture, calladita te ves más bonita, which means you look prettier when you're quiet. And so this is what I'm growing up hearing and learning, and don't talk about that, and leave your traumas alone, and pray it away, and all those things. And I'm like, but this pain is still here, this trauma, these things that have happened. No one is being held responsible for all of these things that are going on, both in my personal life and in the communities that I love. And so that was really my origin story. I was really like, I want to learn who I am, and then I want to help people to feel comfortable enough to be their authentic selves. And so that journey took me through so many different things. The first being, being able to be the first in my family to go to college and graduate from college.
Congratulations.
Because, thank you so much. It was a struggle.
I had to
Where'd you go?
I went to University of Illinois at Chicago. It was a struggle, because I had no one telling me, what are the best practices? What do you do? How do you keep your head in the game? And then I moved out at 17 years old. So I'm living on my own, going to school, working multiple jobs. But the beautiful thing about UIC, and that connects to this song, is that I was able to take my first history of Puerto Rico class. And I was able to learn about myself and my culture, and like all of the injustices that this little island has faced, and also the people who have come to live here have also faced. And so it empowered me, right, to stand in my truth and to tell my story and to be that representation that I didn't have. And so along with, education being one of my saving graces, hip hop was absolutely my saving grace.
Say that again.
Hip hop was my saving grace, and is the saving grace for so many people. And hip hop is turning 50 years old this year. So you think that it's this, that it's been around forever. 50 is young. When I look at 50-year-olds, I'm like, I want to be just like you. Like, you're still young and lively,
Rocking it.
Yeah.
I be one.
Listen, period. I thought you were 21. I thought we agreed that you were 21. I thought we said 21 forever.
I tell the people, I am 600 plus months old.
I love that.
I love it.
I love breaking it down by months, right? Because it's like all the wisdom in those months, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, hip hop became for me the platform and the tool and the vehicle for which I was able to push my message forward, but also was literally the center point of all of my healing, because I was able to share my story through song, and it's really therapeutic. If there are any songwriters listening, anyone who does any creative art, and that's why I hate the idea of starving being put before artistry, because we are saving people's lives with our music and saving our own lives at the same time. We should be able to be paid equitably for that work, and that's on period.
So this is what, and I say this a lot, and I've probably said it on here. When we are all dust and bones and gone, what is left for the generations behind us to know what we did is the art that we created. We know what happened in the caves because of what was drawn. We know what the pharaohs ate because of what was left in the pyramids and the tombs. It is the art that is left. And until we as a society, other societies do value it. Until Americans.
Right. Americans say that.
Until Americans.
And I don't mean to blaspheme the Canadians and the Mexicans by naming them Americans too.
Right.
Or the South Americans, because it is the United States of freaking America.
Yeah, y'all.
Let's be clear.
Y'all that's listening. I'm talking to you. Until we value that, and understand that this is the story of us. The art is the story.
And we're archiving it in every step. And so why are we not being supported the same way historians and museums are, right? Like they say rappers, we are the historians, we are the tellers of the time, we are the meteorologists, we telling you what the temperature is outside. That's really what we're doing.
Right.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, because rap has been, and hip hop has been gathered into this masculine identity. And as a female MC, What do you tell the little the young female identified MCs that you're raising? Because I've seen you mentor some young ones. So what do you tell them?
Well, first I tell them I'm an MC, period. Right? Because I think that what has happened is that we've been pushed off to the side, even just with the title of, female MC, female, no one is, sometimes they're talking about doctors and women, but it's only us, right? Women identified folks that it's like women doctors, women lawyers. No, I'm a lawyer, period. I'm a doctor, period.
I don't an MC, say actress.
Period.
I'm an actor.
Actor, period.
Right.
And so that's the first thing, is them standing in the truth of their talent and their genius despite their gender. However, it's really important to note how gender and how inequity has informed a lot of the work that we've done and the extra steps that we have had to take. It's not by choice. I wish my career could have been as easy as a lot of these Chicago
Dr.
artists
Dre,
that are
Common.
that are males that have made it. Like when you think of like all of the slew of male MCs, I'm going to call them male MCs that have made it, and then you think of folks like someone like Shauna, who is incredible and has not reached those. Let's talk about what the reason is, right? What is the difference between these people? And it's the lack of support. So I think that I tell them to stand in their truth, right? And whatever that looks like for them. B, that they are no different and no less great than any male or male identified folk in this industry. But C, the most important thing, and it's the thing that I still have to tell myself all the time, is just, I'm good enough. You're good enough. You're actually more than good enough, right? Because you wouldn't have been given this gift from God, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, Allah, whoever you believe in, the universe, spirit, ancestors, the Orishas. You wouldn't have gotten that blessing because I'm a vessel. This isn't me. When I'm writing songs, I'm like, if you were to see me, you would think I was it's coming from somewhere else. And you wouldn't have been given that talent if it wasn't for you to use it and to stand in that truth. But we've been told to forget. We've been told we're not good enough. We've been told that there isn't a place for us here. And so we have to remember that, like, visceral feeling and connection to spirit and connection to our ancestors that are reminding us this is you, but this is all of us. So my voice is for my mom and my grandma and her mom and all of those generations of women who were told to be quiet, who were told, calladita te ves más bonita, you look prettier when you're quiet. And so I try to remind them of just their inherent greatness and that they work better when they work together. Because there's this idea in hip hop that, like, women are catty, and that's not true. Because if you look at the scope of the industry right now, the women are doing it. The women are working together.
And they are holding each other up.
And they are holding each other up.
I love it. I love to see it.
And that's how we're going to win.
Yes.
Well, if you just look at who's holding up the world anyhow.
Listen, talk about it.
So if you talk about who's getting the degrees, it's the women. You talk about who's pushing the limits on management and corporations, it's the women. If you talk about making a difference in the lives of children, like growing kids up, teaching and learning, it's women. And because it's a damn man's world, that oppression even consumes the artists that we are. That even though we're 50 years old with hip-hop, we're 50 years old steeped in American caste system that makes women subordinated to men.
And misogyny and all of those things.
All of that. That's all that. So that's this cultural shift. So I just want to just pivot just a little bit with this one, because I just want to call out the affirmative action thing that you talked about in them doing away with legacy stuff. The reason why that stuff was needed in the first place, to call it affirmative action, is because of the damn oppression that was going on that was keeping everybody out of everything. All right? The Dow Jones Industrial was around 600 when that law was put in place. And over that 50 years, same distance, right? Over that 50 years, the Dow Jones Industrial created so much wealth in the marketplace because of the entrance of women and blacks and people of color from all over the world. It's 33,000 on the Dow, and you've got the nerve to get rid of that law.
Yeah.
Now, it would be okay with me to get rid of that law if we had shifted our culture.
Right, but that hasn't happened.
But because when you look at the spew that's coming out of the MAGA crowd, that's telling us that half the country has no consciousness for what it is that we're talking about in terms of women's true equity and equality. Because not equality, because equity right now says they should be on top of this thing because so much.
Talk about it.
That's the truth of it. Yeah. That would be the equitable position for women right now.
Right.
But because we are a caste system pressuring everyone into their roles, here we have.
Yeah.
It's plain as day.
Yeah.
And we have to. What I find so interesting is that there's always this pushback. Well, why do you have to keep bringing up the fact that you're black? Why do you have to keep bringing up the fact that you're a woman? Why do you have to keep talking about it? Can't we all just people? All lives matter? Aren't we? Well, see, the fact that I have to keep saying it is because you have me in a society that keeps reminding me of it.
And when you call me on reminding you of my blackness, that is as racist a thing as you could possibly do.
Can we talk about it?
Lord,
I mean, that's it. I don't mean to shout into the mic like that, but I do want to shout from the rooftops.
Yes, and the mountaintops.
The mountaintops to say that that if to partner with women, men like me, and men identifying men and men who are different from me have to give it up.
Yeah.
Have to give up the control elements that are given to us by culture. Yeah. We just have to stand apart, put our hands in our pocket, and take the back seat for a while until we learn how to walk shoulder to shoulder, ride shotgun with a woman, right? Just last thing, I just accepted a trusteeship at a major school system in Indiana. It's a charter system.
Trusteeship, though. Come on.
Yeah. You got a little something. You get 780 months on you. They'll start to pick you for stuff.
He said I put in the work.
Yeah. The place is run by the whole board is made of women.
Wow.
They're half of all the kids, 3/4 of all the kids in their region under their charter is run by women. The superintendent and all of the major players are all women. And when they do their homework on me, they do this other stuff, and we get to the meeting to vote me in, and it's a mixed vote because he's a good man and he's got beautiful references and whatnot, but we don't know that culture of man is out of him. Now, they didn't say that many words.
Terms, yeah.
But, it's the only way that can come down with a mixed vote like that.
Right.
It's kind of things. And so now, my role in that place is to empower the leadership of women, not to compete with it.
Right.
It's to cooperate and collaborate and to fuse what I have into their work to the extent that they want that fusion.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And let it be what it is. So anyway, I'm going to step back off my little soapbox here.
No, I mean, what you're saying is really important, and it's also about men platforming women, right? Providing the platform, pushing them forward and pushing them up.
Right.
Like that's not happening. And when I think of even bringing it back to the conversation about hip hop, and when I think about hip hop starting, I have a homegirl who has this T-shirt that I wear as often as I can. It's raggedy now. I literally messaged her yesterday like I need a new one. It says "No Woman, No Hip Hop," and she has a collective of women producers, MCs. She has a whole album she put out through a grant that she received. Shout out to Jovan Landry and Synergy. When I think of hip hop forming in 1973 in the Boogie Down Bronx, if it wasn't for Kool Herc's sister Cindy Campbell, we wouldn't have hip hop.
Nope.
Right.
As it's known today, and that entrepreneurial spirit, that making money spirit, that hustler spirit came from Little Sis.
Yes.
Right. So when we think of something as big as hip hop, and you talk about the pioneers, and it's Melly Mel and Kool Herc and all these, like, let's name the women too who were holding it down, who were, doing the admin work, who were pushing the flyers, who were bringing the people to the party. Like, women have done so much, and it's really wild to me how we are still talking about the same things in 2023 and not having the same opportunities and platforms. And it's because just men are holding on to this thing for dear life. But how much better would it be if we shared that space together?
Yeah. The men are forced into that role. They have been told over and over and over, day after day, year after year, life after life, that you the man, you in control, you got power, you got... We have to wash our brainwashing.
Well, now I'm going to give y'all another perspective.
Yeah.
Because yes and. I'm a yes
we
and
love
girl.
A yes and.
Come on.
I'm a yes
acting
and
and
girl.
theater work. Yes.
So I am on kind of on the board of Indivisible Chicago.
Okay.
And Indivisible Chicago Alliance is inspired by the Indivisible Guide, engages with public servants to create a just society by promoting progressive values and grassroots engagement. Mm-hmm. So my good girlfriend, Marge Halpern, who is one of the co-chairs of Indivisible, has decided that art is the thing. She's like, I need more artists to come and do and be a part of these voter drives and these call banks. I need artists to help my people get their speaking up, to help teach people to get out and vote. Yes. I need art to inspire. So they had their first events at the Hideout on Thursday, where there was a bunch of improv folks, and Yuri Lane was there.
I love Yuri.
Yuri was the human beatbox and the entertainer that day. Yeah. Oh my God. And I was invited to be there as well. And for those of y'all that don't know, I do write these words. I be writing stuff sometimes.
Listen, y'all didn't know she spits bars too. You didn't even know she a rapper. She was freestyling at the Collaboration
Let me tell you
event.
something.
I don't even know soul sing. Tell me soul sing.
I'm gonna smack right in the mic.
Yes.
Because I am a little black girl from the South Side.
Period.
But I wrote this piece, and it's to this point, and it all comes together. People are listening like, what are they talking about? Talking about SAG-AFTRA. They're talking about hip-hop. They're talking about men. We're not all over, because it's all about your power, your vote, and how we move society forward, your voice. That's what we're talking about. And we're talking about the fact that it is art that moves us forward, that it is dialogue that moves us forward, that it is conversation that moves us forward. Look at you, Raggedy.
I saw that.
Did you see it do me? But you know what? I got it back, because no weapon formed technology. So I wrote a piece and I shared it. It's quick. Okay. This piece I titled, "For Progressive White Gals Who Voted for Hillary Even When Obama Wasn't Enough." Or, "We See You, Susan Sarandon."
Come on.
A poem.
A poem?
A poem.
That's how I spelled it.
I like it.
If you have a beverage, white gals, raise it high. But be careful not to toast if you're only drinking water. There's an old wives' tale that says if you toast with water, you might get pregnant. And God knows getting pregnant is tricky in the year of our Lord 2023. We can talk about our Lord because being Christian is a mood nowadays. Anyway, a toast to you white gals. The 45% of you who saw beyond your disappointment in Barack, because he wasn't the magical Negro from the Green Mile or the legend of Beggar Vance, and he wasn't able to fix 232 years of systemic racism, capitalist greed, and political corruption in his 8 years in office. Thank you for seeing past all of that and getting over the fact that Hill isn't your sexy Elizabeth Warren or your Uncle Bernie, and voting for Hillary in 2016. Be proud of yourself, but and so forth, however.
But and so forth.
It wasn't enough. Your pink coochie hat march in 2017 wasn't enough. Let's go back a little ways to 2015 when y'all hijacked the Me Too movement from that black woman. What was her name? Do you know her name? Tarana Burke, the first woman to hashtag that thing and share her story, but I digress. Hijacking a movement wasn't enough. And this next thing I'm going to say is going to hurt. This is going to sting really bad, white gals. And I'm sorry, but it must be said. showing up at the Black Lives Matter rallies of 2020 and taking your kids to drag story time at the library just is not enough. Clearly, it wasn't enough for 55% of your meemaws, aunties, sisters, cousins, and white gals you love. White gals you love voted for the man that put Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney, Handmaid's Tale Barrett on the highest court. And then 57% of your meemaws and them voted for him again. Your white sisters, your sisters in white, voted for the people that stole your rights to your own uterus. So I would like to propose a toast. Here's to you white gals on changing your focus. We marginalized folks appreciate your zealous allyship, Lord knows we do, but it's time for y'all to be allies to yourselves. Here's to white gals having tough conversations around the Thanksgiving dinner table with your own family about their ignorance. Here's to y'all building a sisterhood with each other to help root out the internalized misogyny that makes your sisters vote against themselves. I can't speak for anyone else, but I can speak for black women when I say, here's to y'all leaving us out of your movements. You see, every election cycle, 95 to 98% of black women vote for our best interests. We have managed our Candace Owens and our Condoleezza Rices. So it is time for you to manage Gail, that works at the Piggly Wiggly up the road with the 8th grade education that thinks she can't make more than $7 an hour because the illegal Mexicans are taking all the jobs. It's time for you to evangelize to your cousin Margaret, the one with the 14 kids who likes what the Dems have to say about some things but just can't vote for one because abortion is murder. That same energy you take to the Peter rally, take that energy back to the school board meeting in your hometown and zealously represent books. I raise a glass to you white gals. Go forth and manage your Gales and your Margarets and your Meemaws, because those are the people undermining all of our freedoms.
Boom. Mic drop.
And we have to, men need to step back. But now, white gals, I'm sorry, but the statistics say that y'all need to step forward.
100%. I was going to say, when we were talking about men feeling like they're holding on desperately to something, I'm like, that reminds me of another group of people that are holding on desperately to something. White people. White people. W-H-Y-P-I-P-O.
White people.
White people.
And now, listen.
We need everyone to be for real allies.
Right.
For real allies, though, not for fake allies.
And sometimes being an ally is being an ally to yourself. Sometimes being an ally is holding on to your own best interests, taking care of you, doing what's best for your community. And, you know, my observation is some of my white gals, y'all don't think y'all a community. See, I know Pinky will know what I'm saying when I say this. We look at our sisters, and if I look at one of my sisters, I'll be like, girl, what are you doing?
Exactly. I'm going to snatch her up and bring her in.
What are you
calling in?
Yes. What are you doing?
The chancla. Y'all know about the chancla? I will give you a chancletazo real quick.
Like any black woman in the sound of my voice knows this sound. Sis.
Whew. I got shooketh right now.
When you look at your, like, what are you thinking? Society needs my white women to find that power in yourself, to look at me, Mom, at Thanksgiving and be like, Grandma, you sound silly and ridiculous. Stop it.
And let me tell you,
and I don't care what you do. You're not going to vote like that because you don't understand that's not just hurting those people. You're hurting yourself.
Going back to your indivisible thing, just to kind of walk with you a little bit with this one. White women are basically 25% of the populace of the United States of America, which is about the same size as the populace of the MAGA movement. And the MAGA movement has taken over the Republican Party. Just imagine if white women really understood their power and then joined with progressive-minded allies of the type we speak about.
Absolutely.
This could be a very, very different world, a very 100%. Easy walk. It's just a third Tuesday in freaking November. We could change it.
Yeah.
We had to do that.
We have to.
We had to do that 3 times in a row. Yeah. We do that 3 times in a row. It's the America that was envisioned by the preamble and sold out by the Constitution. The Constitution is what you get when you fight about the preamble, and we only get to leave with what we can agree on as common to us. So we believe these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. That shit went right out the door, front one.
Right.
The
first thing to go.
Dr. Marcus, it's going to get us flagged by the FCC.
Oh, did that happen? Okay, good.
Paul, our engineer Paul is trick on the
We got a great engineer, and he just saved me a fine. I love that. I'll split it with you, baby.
Right.
All right. Okay. Enough said.
So I think our collective message is, I know it feels like, it's like, why is she talking about voting? Why is she talking? Because this thing is right around the corner. There are special elections going on all over the country right now. Yeah. It is right around the corner. We have to keep our eye on the prize.
And the prize is the dog catcher, the commissioner for the utilities, your school boards, your clerks, your judges, your local leaders and whatnot. It's not just who's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
We're proving that 3 times in a row in recent years, and pretty much the entirety of the entire United States. Presidents don't really matter as much as voters do. So we got to get this together.
Yeah. All politics is local, and you this book banning and all this stuff that's going on. This disruption in art creation is happening at the local level. You have to be engaged civically. We all must be engaged civically so that people like me and Dr. Marcus and Pinky can sit here and be all like,
and have this
conversation and be able to pay our rent and keep the lights on and give this to you so you can give this to your people, and your generations and your generations.
And I'll tell you what, people are looking at us, Chicago, because of this election that we just had that really was progressive, was run by youth voters, like young people. If you're listening, you are important.
You made the difference.
We need you, right? And a lot of eyes are on Chicago. When I go out of Chicago, when I go to different cities, they're like, you had this really big election. And I'm like, how did you even know? I don't think that people are paying attention that closely. They are paying attention to us.
When I tell you, I am 50 years old, and I remember Chicago being the blue dot in a red sea of Republican mess. And I don't think people get it. Chicago has been, the state of Illinois has been red until about 6 years ago.
And just so we get, I'm glad you did that, because we do have the most progressive governor of 50 states.
Yes, we do.
We have the epitome of what the new brand of leadership that's coming out of black leadership right now as our mayor. And we've got, as our county executive, we got one of the most experienced black leaders running our county right now.
And our older people as well are, like, I'm looking and it's, we've got queer folks, we've got women, we've got black folks, we've got Latin folks, we've got brown folks. Like,
I'm gonna tell you, my niece and her best friend from high school are in town to see the Beyonce. They are part of the Hive.
I'm jealous.
And they are going.
I'm jealous.
But they are in town, and her friend, they're from Columbus, Ohio, and her good girlfriend looked at me yesterday over breakfast and was like, I just like it here. She'd never been. 28 years old. She was like, I just kind of feel like I can breathe. We're sitting in Hyde Park. I was like, because Chicago is one of the blackest, queerest places on the planet.
Black, brown, and queer in the most beautiful way possible.
Whoever you want to be.
100%.
I was like, look around the restaurant we're in. It's some of everybody. We are beginning to be a model for what an actual democracy and melting pot looks like.
We are a model for the salad. I won't go for the melting pot kind of thing, but I get you. Right.
Yeah.
So because everybody bring their flavors to the salad kind of thing, and it can be yourself without having to blend into me.
Oh yes, I agree.
But to whom much is given, much is expected
and tested.
So we have to continuously bring the good fight.
Yes.
All the way to the end of the road.
Yeah, and to these other places that need to change and need
Chicago is that shining light on the lake.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and it's just darn beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and
Carla,
Chanel,
can I say, when you say how old you are, can you just say I'm hip hop years old now?
Hip hop years old.
I am hip hop years old.
I am hip hop years old.
Period.
Period on period.
If you don't know, now you know.
I'm Motown years old on that one.
Hey, I love that.
Look at the time, and this is what happens.
done?
This is what happens when the conversation is pip pop popping. Collaboration Radio is sponsored by the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation and AV Chicago, and you too can sponsor and purchase an ad and be part of our weekly show and podcast. Just email radio@collaboration.org to inquire, and be sure to check us out and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Pinky, where can we see you other than at Kids Are With Us?
Oh my goodness, I'm doing so many things. I'm actually going to Washington next week I do hip hop diplomacy work, so I work with the embassy and go overseas and do hip hop work.
What?
So shout out to all of my teaching artists that'll be in Washington next week. I manage programs, so I'm excited about that. Doing Lala July 29th, I'll be at the Youth Empowerment Festival on the west side of Chicago. But you can find all information on me at Pinky Ring, at Pinky_Ring on Instagram, PINQY, the Q stands for Queen, all over, and pinkyring.com as well.
Thank you, Dr. Marcus. Thank you, Paul. And thank you all, and we will see you again next week.
We love you.
Yay.
Shout out.
The preceding program, Collaboration Radio, is sponsored by